Okay, so yesterday was all about making different arrays. Today we're going to use them. So in other words, we've got the arrays. What can we do with them once we have made them? Okay, so we're going to go straight into our learning today. So first of all, I've got 3 questions for you. If it was me, I would have a scrap piece of paper with me just so you can write the answers down. They don't need to be written in your book. You can always write them on the back of today's activity if you want to, but a scrap piece of paper is fine. Okay, so first of all, question 1, how many counters are there here? Question 2 is how many counters now? What can you tell me about the number of counters now in number 2 compared to number 1? And then which shows, for question 3, which representation shows 6? So which ones show 6 squares? Okay. So we've got 5 counters here. For question 2, we've got 10 counters. And then these 3 show 6. So we've got, and these are different arrays. So here we've got 1 group of 6. Here we've got 2 groups of 3. And here we've got 3 groups of 2. Thinking about what we did yesterday. Okay. So, how many tarts do we have all together? We can count that. That's quite nice. That's quite simple. But let's think of it in terms of our array. So it might even help if you make the array. So if you've got some cubes, some Lego bricks, some pencils, anything you can use to help you today to make these. So we've got 3 in the top row. We've got 3 in the bottom row. We can also say that that is 2 in the column going down, 2 in the middle column, the 2 purple ones, and then 2 reds that way. Okay, and then we can count. So we can either go 3 add 3 is 6, or we can count in 2s. 2, 4, 6. What about here? Okay, so here we've got some cakes on a cooling rack. We've got a group of 2, another group of 2, another group of 2, another line of 2, and another line of 2. Okay, so that's 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2. Or let's count in 2s. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Or we can do it as 2 groups of 5 and count in 5s. 5, 10. So the way we can use our arrays to help us find totals quickly. So if we put objects into arrays, then we can count in 2s, 5s, 10s. As you get older, you'll start to be thinking about counting in 3s and 4s, so you can make arrays using those. Right, so what is an array? This is what we talked about yesterday and what you did yesterday's lesson. So we've got groups of apples here, either going across. So here we have 2 rows. So we can say that is 6 add 6, because we've got 6 in the first row and 6 in the second row. Or we can say that is 2 times 6, because we remember times means groups of. So we have 2 groups of 6 equals 12. Either one of those is the same. Okay, we could also do it using columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 columns. So we can say that is 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2, which is 12. Or 6 groups of 2, which also equal 12. So for every single array, you can have 2 addition number sentences using repeated addition and 2 multiplication. And you'll notice with the multiplication, they've been switched round. Whereas the repeat addition, you're looking at what's in the rows and the columns. So let's have a go with the pairs. Might be worth you making this in front of you if you can. So how many are there altogether? And how can we show that using some number sentences? So here we have one group, and we have one group of 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs, and another group of 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs. So we can write that as 4, add 4, equals 8, or two groups of 4, which also equal 8. You can check it by counting the pairs. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or we can do it the other way. So we've got one group, two group, three group, four groups. 4 groups of 2. So that makes 2, add 2, add 2, add 2 equals 8. Or 4 multiplied by 2, because remember multiplied means groups of, equals 8. Oh, what have we done here? You can't make an array here because 9 is an odd number. So we can't make this array with 9. Is that true? Have a think. Pause it now and have a think. Talk. Can you make an array with 9 by changing the pairs round? We can. So just because there's an odd one on one row, you can change, sometimes you can't, but for 9 you can. So now we changed it. So we've got 3 groups of 3, or 3 times 3, which is 9. So actually we're doing the 3 times table without even thinking about it. And it doesn't matter if you do it up or across, rows or columns, because it's exactly the same both ways. Okay, if you're year 2, you have the worksheet that goes with this PowerPoint and this video. Year 1s, you don't. So year 2s have a go at questions 1 to 4 on your worksheet. Year 1s, just keep going. So year 2s pause now, year 1s just keep going. Okay, so this is where you are going to need your piece of paper, because we're going to draw an array to represent 5 times 3, or 5 groups of 3. Okay, so I want you to have a go first. See if you can do it. Make it or draw it. So here we go, look. Either ones of those would have been right. Let's just go back a second. So here we've got one group of 5, 2 groups of 5, 3 groups of 5. Or we've got one group of 3, 2 groups of 3, 3 groups of 3, 4 groups of 3, 5 groups of 3. So for every multiplication that you come up with, there will be 2 different ways, 2 different arrays of showing it. Okay, so I want you to spend some time now having a bit of a play. If you've got 16 objects, how many different arrays can you find? Okay, so pause it now and just have a little bit of a play with your counters in front of you. Okay, so you could have had 16 in a row, one group of 16, or 16 times 1. You could have had them in 2 rows, so that would be 2 groups of 8, or 8 groups of 2 if you're going downwards. You could have had it like this. Oh no, you couldn't. You can have it like this. Why couldn't we have done it like that? Because they're not equal groups. So we had to put it in groups of 4. 4 groups of 4. Now that's the same both ways, so that's why there's only one answer. So there, 16 times 1, 8 times 2, and 4 times 4. Does anybody notice anything about those numbers? Well, 16, halve it to make 8. Double it to make 2. So we've halved 16 and put half of them, which is 8, on the next row. And then the same again. Half of 8 is 4, double 2 is 4. Now, year 1s, we're going to talk about doubles tomorrow, but year 2s, you should know this already. And again, look at the array, split it in 2, move one half underneath the other, we've got our array. So you're halving and doubling. So what do we see here? This person sees 2 groups of 6. That person sees 6 groups of 2. Somebody says 3 groups of 4 and 4 groups of 3. I can see 1 group of 12 and 12 ones. Who's correct? Have a talk with a person, with an adult. Again, what I would do is make the array. So can you make 2 groups of 6 from those numbers, from those counters? Can you make 6 groups of 2? Can you make 4 groups of 3 and 3 groups of 4? Can you make 12 groups of 1 or 1 group of 12? Well, there's 2 groups of 6. There's 6 groups of 2. There's 3 groups of 4 or 4 groups of 3. There was also 12 ones, because you could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You could have had 12 ones, and then you could have had 1 big group of 12. So, year 2s, have a go at the rest of the questions on your sheet, okay? And then we'll have a look at the problem solving. Year 1s, just carry on listening. So this is the problem solving, and everybody's got this, whether they're year 1s or 2s. So here there are 3 arrays, one's with apples, one's with bees, one's with cupcakes. Okay, what I want you to do is underneath each one, can you write 2 multiplication number sentences and 2 addition number sentences for each one in your maths book. So stick this in your maths book on the next page. Can you write them underneath? Okay, right, year 1s, this is what you've got to do. So year 2s, you're done. You can go away and finish this off now. You don't have to carry on listening. Year 1s, you have got here some arrays. And I filled in the first bit for you. Okay, so 2 groups of what? How could you split that up into 2 groups? How many's in each group? And then how many have you got altogether? And then underneath, I want you to write the addition that goes with it. Same for this one. How can you put the octopuses into 2 groups? How many would be in a group? How have you got altogether? What would your addition sentence be? So that would be you're adding your groups up. Same with this one and the bottom one. And then you've got some footballs here, and then you've got some dots. Okay. Now there is a space here. See if you can make up your own one. Okay. If you've got time, have a go at making your own array and your own addition and multiplication number sentences. And that's it for today, because then you're going to go ahead and do the problem solving as well. Well done. I'll see you tomorrow. Year 2s and year 1s, you've got something different tomorrow. So year 2s, you're moving on to something different. We've done arrays now. Year 2s, you're moving on to the 2 times table, whereas year 1s, you're moving on to doubling. Okay, see you tomorrow.